The sky above Earth's military base darkened as a massive shadow passed over the horizon. Soldiers squinted upward, their hearts pounding. A ship unlike anything they had ever seen hovered in the clouds. It was not like any plane or missile. They had never faced anything like it before. This was Craxus Prime, the flagship of the alien fleet. Its surface gleamed with strange metal, reflecting sunlight in sharp, blinding flashes. On the ground, humans scrambled to their stations. Some reached for rifles, others for radios, but the fear was clear in their eyes. This was not an ordinary enemy. They were aliens. Machines could be destroyed, armies could be defeated, but this was something else. From the ship, a loudspeaker boomed in a language that was almost music and yet felt terrifying. The words translated into human tongues by strange alien tech. "Humans, bring us your best sniper, we wish to test your kind." The soldiers froze. A challenge from the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Their best sniper? That was supposed to be someone with decades of experience. Someone who had trained their whole life for battle. Everyone expected panic, fear, hesitation. But General Mason, the commander of Earth's forces, did not panic. He did not frown or shout orders. Instead, he smiled. A small, calm smile that somehow made everyone else feel steadier. His eyes sparkled with quiet confidence, the kind of confidence that comes from knowing something others do not. The aliens descended their scanning drones, analyzing humans on the ground. They expected to see soldiers, men and women trained for battle, ready to fight. Instead, Mason did something utterly shocking. He raised his hand and pointed toward the city beyond the base. Ordinary streets, ordinary people going about their lives. Children played near fountains, shopkeepers arranged goods, and workers carried tools and packages. Nothing about them suggested battle or combat. "Pick any civilian," Mason said, his voice calm but firm. "They never miss." The aliens froze. Civilians? Pick a random person off the street, someone who had never held a rifle in their life, and call them the best sniper? It sounded impossible. How could a simple mechanic, a school teacher, or even a child compete with trained alien warriors? But Mason's eyes held something the aliens did not understand. Certainty. His soldiers exchanged nervous glances, some shaking their heads in disbelief, others too afraid to speak. General Vortek, the alien leader, was not used to being challenged in this way. His tentacles twitched with irritation. He had conquered hundreds of worlds, defeated countless armies, and yet this human commander seemed unafraid. He chose a civilian randomly. A young woman in a red jacket holding a small wrench walked down the street. Her name was Leah Hart, a mechanic with no combat experience, no training with rifles, no knowledge of war. The alien scanners detected nothing special, no enhancements, no weapons. She was ordinary in every sense. Yet Mason nodded. "Watch carefully," he said. "This is what humans do when they are tested." The wind picked up, carrying dust and the smell of the city. The sun reflected off the alien ship, creating a halo around the scene. Leah looked at the crowd, and then at Mason. She did not understand why she was here, why aliens were pointing weapons at her, or why her commander was smiling as if this were a normal day. She tightened her grip on the wrench in her hand. Mason whispered a single sentence. "Trust yourself. You know what to do." The aliens began to laugh, or what sounded like laughter in their language. They thought this was a bluff, a joke. Humans were clever, they assumed, but not this clever, not this fearless. Leah stepped forward. Her steps were slow, careful, but each one seemed to carry purpose. Mason watched her, calm as ever. The aliens readied their weapons, their sensors locked on her every movement. They were preparing to witness failure, and perhaps in their arrogance to feel superiority once again. But there was tension in the air, something unspoken, powerful, and strange. Even the soldiers on the ground felt it. They had heard legends of human sharpshooters in war, but this was different. This was ordinary people facing extraordinary odds, and Mason had promised that they would never miss. The sun dipped slightly behind the alien ship, casting long shadows over the streets. Leah's eyes narrowed. She did not understand fully what was happening, but inside, a strange calm settled over her. She was ready. And in that moment, the galaxy held its breath. The air was heavy with tension. The aliens' weapons tracked Leah hard as she held the wrench in her hands, uncertain and small against the massive warship looming above. Yet General Mason did not flinch. He raised his hand and spoke calmly, his voice cutting through the eerie hum of alien machinery. "Before we begin, you must understand something," he said, looking directly at the alien general. "Humans are not born perfect soldiers. We survive chaos every day. That is our greatest weapon." Vortex's many eyes blinked in confusion. Chaos? Survival? His scanners picked up no special abilities, no enhanced reflexes, no implanted technology. Yet Mason's calm confidence made the alien commander uneasy. Mason led the aliens and the soldiers to a long, narrow training ground, stretching for miles into the hills. Targets were set at impossible distances, some moving, some hidden behind obstacles. The wind whistled through the valley, bending unpredictably. Dust swirled and sunlight flickered through clouds, casting strange shadows over the targets. "Watch carefully," Mason said. "This is why humans never miss." He gestured toward Leah, who now held a rifle for the first time in her life. Her hands shook slightly, but Mason's gaze was steady. He spoke softly, as if sharing a secret. "Humans do not calculate. We do not rely solely on machines or formulas. We instinctively understand the world around us. The wind, the light, the movement of targets. Our brains process it all without effort. Years of surviving unpredictable life sharpen our reflexes beyond any machine." The aliens' scanners whirred, trying to detect hidden enhancements, special training, or alien technology. They found nothing. Leah Hart was human, completely ordinary. Yet she was about to demonstrate something the Craxus army had never faced. Mason gave a small nod. Leah raised the rifle and aimed at a target moving behind a thin metal screen hundreds of meters away. Her finger rested lightly on the trigger. She exhaled slowly, her heart beating steadily. Then she fired. The bullet hit perfectly. The target was destroyed. Another shot, another moving target eliminated. The aliens' jaws dropped. They had never seen precision like this. Their weapons were calibrated for perfect accuracy, yet a human, an ordinary civilian, was outperforming their technology. Mason walked slowly along the line of targets, explaining to the aliens, "Observe. Humans grow up in unpredictable environments. From childhood, we dodge danger, calculate risk, and react instantly to sudden threats. Our eyes see motion, our minds anticipate it, and our bodies act. We do not need perfect machines. We create perfection in chaos." Vortex's tentacles twitched nervously. His fleet had never encountered a species that relied purely on instinct, yet executed it with deadly efficiency. No algorithm, no scanning device, no weapon could match this natural adaptability. Leah's hands moved smoothly. Each shot was faster than the aliens expected, faster than even their advanced tracking systems could calculate. The human civilian became a blur of calm precision, her instincts guiding each strike. Mason's soldiers watched in awe, some whispering to one another. They had trained with weapons their whole lives, yet even they felt a shiver of respect. The aliens, arrogant and disciplined, realized something terrifying. Humans could improvise faster than any machine. Humans did not just react, they predicted. Every movement of the target, every gust of wind, every shadow, humans read it instinctively. Mason turned to Leah and whispered again, "Trust yourself, nothing can stop you now." She nodded slightly, her confidence growing. The wrench she had held earlier now felt heavy with expectation, replaced by the rifle that became an extension of her instincts. Vortex's eyes widened as more civilians stepped forward. Engineers, workers, and ordinary people joined the line, each ready to demonstrate the same innate precision. Mason's simple words had revealed the truth. Every human carried this hidden power, honed by life itself, waiting for a moment to be unleashed. The aliens had expected soldiers. They had expected weapons. Instead, they faced human instinct perfected through ordinary life. And for the first time, they truly feared what these beings were capable of. Mason smiled faintly, watching Leah aim at a distant target. The bullet flew, Perfect. Another destroyed target fell. The aliens shivered as they realized this was only the beginning. In that moment, Earth's civilians, ordinary and untrained, became a force the galaxy had never truly understood. And the Craxus army began to grasp a simple, terrifying truth. Human instinct was their deadliest weapon. The wind howled through the valley, carrying the faint smell of dust and metal. Shadows danced over the training ground. And humans, ordinary humans, were about to show the universe what never missing truly meant. The training ground stretched farther than the eye could see, a harsh landscape of rocks, tall grass, and distant hills. Targets of every kind were set up, some moving, some partially hidden, some even mimicking alien movements. The Craxus soldiers looked down at Leah Hart and the other civilians with a mix of disbelief and anger. They had expected chaos to overwhelm the humans, yet the first shots had been uncannily precise. Now, General Vortek growled, his voice trembling slightly, "You will see true skill. Hit all these targets moving at impossible speed. If you fail, your species will be judged weak." Mason raised an eyebrow but said nothing. His calm presence alone seemed to unsettle the aliens. Leah adjusted her stance, her rifle shaking slightly in her hands. Her heart raced, but she felt a strange calm. She didn't know why she could do this, only that she could. The aliens activated the targets. They moved erratically. Some sprinted across rocks, others zigzagged behind obstacles, and a few were suspended on wires, swinging unpredictably. Sensors beeped, machines whirred, and the Craxus soldiers prepared to mark the humans' failure. Leah's eyes narrowed. She inhaled slowly, centering herself. The first shot left the barrel with a sharp crack. The target, a small drone moving faster than she could have imagined, exploded in a cloud of sparks. Another shot, another target gone. The aliens could not believe their eyes. Each civilian handed a weapon for the first time in their lives moved with natural precision. Mechanics, teachers, even a young boy who had been pulled from the streets, fired without hesitation. Every target, no matter how difficult, was neutralized. "Impossible!" one alien shouted. "No human could react so quickly. No organic species." Mason's soldiers watched, some with their mouths open. They had trained with top-level instructors, and yet even they felt awe at the civilians' instincts. The humans were improvising, adapting, and predicting every move of the targets as if they could see the future. The aliens grew desperate. They increased the difficulty. Targets now moved in patterns impossible for conventional logic. Drones zipped around in complex formations, and holographic decoys tried to confuse the shooters. Yet every civilian adjusted instantly, firing and hitting targets with unerring accuracy. Vortek's many eyes widened in horror. His scanners had never encountered this. The humans were reading chaos itself, translating it into perfect action. Machines could measure variables, calculate trajectories, and predict motion. But humans felt it. Their brains connected instinct, experience, and observation in ways no machine could match. Mason walked slowly behind Leah, whispering, "Trust yourself. This is what makes you unstoppable. Don't think, feel." Leah's hands no longer trembled. She aimed and fired with quiet confidence. Each shot destroyed a target that seemed impossible to hit. The moving drones fell one by one. A target swinging on wires spun unpredictably, but Leah's bullet struck it dead center. Other civilians followed, each shot more precise than the last. The aliens tried to adjust, tried to move faster, but nothing worked. The humans anticipated every movement, turning the impossible into reality. The aliens' confidence shattered. Their perfect machines, designed to track and predict motion flawlessly, could not match instinct honed over a lifetime of survival. Every human in that line, ordinary in every way, was outperforming the galaxy's finest soldiers. Vortek's voice trembled with fury. This cannot be. They are civilians, untrained, yet they are superior." Mason stepped forward, smiling faintly. "You see now, Vortek, humans do not rely on perfection. We rely on life itself, our instincts, our experiences, our ability to adapt. You cannot predict that. You cannot measure it, and you certainly cannot defeat it. The wind carried the sound of gunfire and distant explosions. Dust swirled around the civilians as they continued firing, their movements precise, calm, unstoppable. Leah Hart, the young mechanic, smiled faintly as another drone exploded. She had never imagined being a sniper, yet somehow she knew exactly what to do. The impossible challenge had become human triumph. Every alien soldier watching realized a chilling truth. The humans' greatest weapon was not technology, numbers, or training. It was their instincts, perfected by life itself. And in that moment, Earth's civilians became more dangerous than the aliens could ever imagine. The air vibrated with the hum of alien engines as the Craxus soldiers realized something terrifying. The humans were unstoppable. Ordinary civilians, engineers, mechanics, and even children had destroyed every moving target the aliens had unleashed. Their weapons, advanced and deadly, had been outmatched by instinct and courage. Vortex's eyes glowed with fury. He raised his clawed hand and barked orders in his alien tongue. Suddenly, the ground shook as hundreds of drones, war machines, and elite alien sharpshooters appeared. Their weapons glinted in the sun, aimed directly at the humans. "If they will not fail, then they will be destroyed," Vortex roared. Mason stepped forward, calm and unshaken, as the humans readied themselves. He spoke quietly to Leah Hart, still holding her rifle with ease. "Remember," he said, "humans do not rely on calculation alone. Trust what you feel. You are faster than their machines." The first wave of alien drones surged forward. They were sleek, fast, and designed to overwhelm any target with precision fire. But the humans moved as if they were one. Leah fired, taking out a drone twisting through the air. Sparks flew and the machine tumbled, destroyed before it could fire. Another civilian, a baker named Thomas, aimed at a hovering drone and shot it mid-flight. He had never fired a rifle before today, yet his bullet found its mark. Every human acted instinctively, adjusting their aim in response to wind, distance, and the unpredictable paths of the alien attackers. The aliens unleashed more advanced weapons, plasma turrets that tracked every movement, holographic decoys to confuse the humans, and explosive mines scattered across the battlefield. Yet every attack failed. Humans adapted instantly, weaving through danger, predicting explosions, and striking with precision. Vortex's tentacles twitched with panic. His soldiers began falling one by one, their machines no match for instinct honed by everyday life on Earth. The aliens realized something shocking. Humans didn't need experience with weapons to dominate the battlefield. Their survival instincts, sharpened through years of chaotic living, gave them an advantage no technology could overcome. "Impossible," one alien lieutenant hissed. "They should be overwhelmed. Our weapons are perfect." Mason smiled faintly. "Perfection is meaningless when faced with unpredictability. Humans thrive in chaos. That is our power." Another wave of elite alien snipers appeared on the hills, aiming at the civilians from long distances. They fired in perfect synchronization, bullets streaking across the sky. Leah, Thomas, and the others reacted instinctively, ducking behind rocks, rolling through the dust and returning fire. Each shot hit its target with deadly accuracy. The aliens tried to retreat to regroup, but the humans anticipated their every move. Leah spotted a sniper on a ridge and fired. The shot was perfect, eliminating the threat. Another civilian aimed at a hovering war drone, predicting its path before it even moved. Boom. Another target destroyed. Vortex's fury turned to fear. His elite army designed to crush worlds was being destroyed by civilians who had never fired a weapon before. Every failed attack intensified his panic. The humans were not just surviving, they were dominating. Mason raised his hand and all the civilians paused. He spoke clearly, loud enough for the aliens to hear. "Look closely, Vortex. You see now what humans are capable of. Not machines, not soldiers, ordinary people with courage and instinct. That is why we never miss." The alien leader's many eyes widened in disbelief. He had seen worlds conquered by superior technology, but never a species that used chaos itself as a weapon. The battlefield quieted for a moment, dust and smoke swirling around. The humans stood in calm formation, rifles steady, eyes focused. The aliens had underestimated the power of instinct, courage, and adaptability. And Vortex knew it. This was no ordinary fight. Humanity had revealed its deadliest secret, and the Craxus army had no way to counter it. In that instant, the aliens understood a chilling truth. Humans were not just survivors. Humans were predators in their own right, capable of turning even the impossible into victory. The counterattack had failed. Every plan, every weapon, every strategy of the aliens had been outmatched by humans' natural skill. Leah Hart smiled faintly, adjusting her aim for the next wave, and Mason simply nodded. The humans had won the first true battle against the galaxy's most advanced warriors. The aliens were learning a lesson they would never forget. Never underestimate ordinary humans. The battlefield lay in chaos. Smoke curled from destroyed drones, and the ground was scarred with craters from alien plasma blasts. The Craxus army, once confident, now faltered. Each attempt to strike the humans ended in failure, their machines shredded or misfiring. Yet the humans stood calm and composed, their ordinary appearances belying their deadly precision. Mason looked across the field and raised his hand. His signal was simple yet powerful. It was time for the real demonstration. From the streets and buildings beyond the base, ordinary civilians poured forward. Not just the mechanics, teachers, and students who had already taken part, but doctors, shopkeepers, children, and workers, hundreds, perhaps thousands. They carried what they could: rifles, makeshift weapons, even tools that could serve as projectiles. Their faces were ordinary, but their resolve was extraordinary. The aliens faltered. They had expected a handful of humans, a simple demonstration. Now the entire population seemed to rise as one. The battlefield, once dominated by alien technology, was now a human storm. This cannot be, Vortek hissed. Ordinary humans should not have such coordination. Mason's voice cut through the chaos. Calm, commanding, unwavering. Humans are not machines, he said. We do not follow programs. We follow instincts. We adapt, we survive, and we fight as one. Watch carefully. The civilians moved in perfect synchronization. Some fired from the rooftops, others from behind barricades. A group of children, guided by adults, created distractions, drawing alien fire away from the main line. Every move was instinctive, fluid, and deadly. The aliens fired back, unleashing plasma waves, missile barrages, and advanced sniper fire, but humans anticipated every attack. Leah Hart led the front line, her rifle steady, taking out drones before they could adjust their trajectory. Behind her, other civilians eliminated snipers, destroyed war machines, and blocked pathways. Every ordinary person became a sharpshooter, strategist, and fighter all at once. The Craxus army tried to adapt. They formed new formations, sent elite squads to flank the humans, and unleashed advanced war machines designed to crush any opposition. Yet each attempt was met with incredible human ingenuity. Civilians used the terrain, improvised cover, and anticipated alien movements instinctively. One man rolled a cart loaded with metal debris down a hill, crushing an approaching mech. A baker, firing from a rooftop, destroyed 3 drones in succession with impossible accuracy. Vortek's eyes widened with terror. His fleet of elite warriors, armed with the galaxy's most advanced weapons, was being systematically dismantled by civilians. His soldiers tried to retreat, regroup, and recalibrate, but the humans anticipated it. Every escape route, every weak point was covered. Mason stepped forward again, addressing Vortek directly. You see now, Vortek, why humans never miss, he said. We are not just soldiers, we are life itself. Ordinary people, when tested, become extraordinary. And when we fight together, there is no force in the galaxy that can stop us. The aliens hesitated, their confidence shattered. Every attempt to strike the humans failed, and each failure strengthened the resolve of the defenders. The tide of battle had turned completely. What had started as a test of one sniper had become a demonstration of human potential. Leah Hart, still calm, scanned the battlefield. Her eyes found targets hiding in shadows, moving drones circling above, and alien snipers on distant ridges. One by one, she eliminated them, each shot precise, controlled, and deadly. Behind her, the civilians followed suit, forming a moving wall of instinct and courage. The Craxus army had underestimated one truth: humans thrived on unpredictability. Ordinary civilians, faced with extraordinary odds, could turn the impossible into victory. And that was exactly what they were doing. The battlefield was no longer just a fight for survival. It was a declaration. The aliens now understood, in the deepest, most terrifying way, that humans were a species to be reckoned with. Ordinary people, when united, could overwhelm the most advanced armies in the galaxy. Vortex stared at the humans in disbelief. The tide had turned completely. The aliens were losing control, not because of weapons, not because of numbers, but because of one undeniable fact. Human instinct and courage could not be measured, predicted, or defeated. Mason watched the battlefield quietly, a faint smile on his lips. Leah Hart fired one last shot, taking down a final alien drone that had dared to approach. The battlefield fell silent for a moment, save for the hum of distant alien engines retreating. The humans had proven themselves. They had turned the tide, and the universe had just begun to learn the true power of humanity. The battlefield was quiet now, but the silence was heavy, almost sacred. Smoke rose from shattered drones, torn war machines, and scorched earth, painting the sky in shades of gray and orange. The alien army, once confident and arrogant, had retreated. Even their most elite soldiers had fallen or been forced into disorganized withdrawal. The humans stood victorious, ordinary people who had become the deadliest force alive. General Mason walked slowly through the dust, his boots crunching against rocks and debris. Around him, civilians, teachers, mechanics, bakers, even children, lowered their rifles and tools, their faces calm but shining with pride. Leah Hart, the young mechanic who had never fired a weapon before that day, stood at the front, her rifle resting lightly in her hands. She had done the impossible. She had led ordinary humans against a superior alien force, and won. From the skies above, General Vortek hovered, watching in disbelief. His ship, massive and imposing, reflected the fiery remnants of the battlefield. He had conquered hundreds of worlds, defeated countless armies, and crushed civilizations without mercy. Yet here, on this small blue planet, humans had shattered his expectations. He descended slowly, tentacles twitching as if trying to make sense of what he had witnessed. The humans did not flinch. They had learned long ago that fear was a tool, but courage, focus, and instinct were stronger. Mason stepped forward to meet the alien commander. "You saw today what humans are capable of," Mason said calmly. "Not machines, not armies. Ordinary people, when tested, become extraordinary. You underestimated us. That was your mistake." Vortek's many eyes blinked rapidly. His voice, usually full of authority and control, now trembled slightly. We underestimated you," he admitted. "Your species, ordinary yet extraordinary. How can a single species with no enhancements, no advanced technology, defeat the might of the Kraxus fleet?" Mason smiled faintly. "We don't rely on enhancements or machines, we rely on life itself. Our instincts, our courage, our ability to adapt to chaos. That is our strength. You saw it today. The aliens had never encountered such a force. Their calculations, their machines, their centuries of warfare could not measure or predict human adaptability. Ordinary humans, shaped by unpredictability and necessity, had become legends in a single day. Leah Hart lowered her rifle and looked at the alien commander. Her hands were steady, her expression calm, almost serene. "We are not warriors by choice," she said softly. "But when we must protect our world, we become something more. That is humanity." The silence that followed was profound. Even the aliens could sense it. The quiet, powerful aura of beings who had faced death and chaos, yet stood victorious. The battlefield, scarred and torn, now reflected not defeat, but human triumph. Slowly, Vortek extended one of his tentacles in a gesture that almost resembled respect. It was a gesture the humans had never expected, a silent acknowledgement that they had witnessed something unimaginable. Humans had shown that courage, instinct, and unity could overcome the greatest of odds. Mason nodded at his civilians. "Remember this day," he said, "not for the battle we won, but for what we proved. Ordinary people can achieve the extraordinary. The universe should never forget it." The alien ship began to ascend, retreating slowly into the sky. Vortek cast one last look at the humans, a mixture of awe, fear, and newfound respect in his many eyes. He had faced many species, but none like this. Humans were not to be underestimated. Not now. Not ever. As the aliens disappeared into the horizon, the civilians began to cheer softly, their voices blending with the wind and the distant sounds of the battlefield. Mason walked among them, proud but humble, as Leah Hart looked around at the people she had fought alongside. They were ordinary in every way, yet today they had rewritten the rules of war. In that moment, the humans understood something vital. They were more than survival, more than strength, more than technology. They were instinct, courage, and unity in action. They were a species that could face the impossible and win. The sun began to set over the battlefield, casting long shadows across the torn earth. The humans stood tall, ordinary, yet extraordinary, ready for whatever the universe might throw at them next. And in the skies above, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter, as if acknowledging that the galaxy had met a force unlike any other: humanity. And so, the legend of humans who never miss was born, a warning and a testament to the universe that ordinary people could achieve the extraordinary, and no force could ever truly predict or defeat them.